Welcome to another episode of Bigger Than Sports. I'm your host, Chris Williamson, and joining me for this week's episode is none other than Super Bowl champ Buccaneers defensive coordinator and former Jets head coach, Todd Bowles. And Todd, congratulations on the Super Bowl victory. As you look back on what your team accomplished in that Super Bowl game, and especially your defense, how rewarding was that game? And then did you envision this moment when the season started?
You don't envision it, but that's the ultimate goal you try to work towards. The guys put a lot of hard work in, especially this strange year that's happened to all of us. And, once you get there, and it doesn't hit you until you see the zeros go up on the clock and you see the smiles on those guys' faces, and that makes it all worth it for me.
Let's go back to your childhood. What was it like growing up in Elizabeth, New Jersey as a kid?
We grew up in Pioneer Homes, New Jersey. We lived in the projects. It was four of us at the time, my two brothers and my sister. I'm the youngest, and my mother, we didn't have a lot of money, but my mother made sure we were taken care of, and we played a lot of street ball sports and a lot of sports, and I was lucky enough to go to high school and end up getting a scholarship at Temple. It kind of worked out there.
Growing up in the streets in the projects, what was the first time you experienced racism?
That happened at an early age for me. It happened probably throughout my life, but really the first time I can remember, somewhere between I was 7 and 9 years old, I experienced a bunch of it. Kind of put me aware of the world and the surroundings around me.
And was there a moment or an experience that kind of stood out to you that you vividly remember, or do they all kind of blend in together?
No, there was a moment that stood out at one point. You play football at the field, and we had to walk through this one neighborhood, and we got chased by a bunch of guys. And me being the youngest and the slowest, I probably was the one caught, and I was about to get hit and beaten with chains. And some girl came up and stopped them, and I kind of knew right then and there exactly where I was in this world.
And those were white people that were chasing you?
At the time, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Jeez. With the Jets in the winter for 2015, just the second black head coach in team history. Your tenure would last 4 seasons. Did you believe that you were held to a higher standard as a black coach, or do you feel like you were treated equally, compared to your white counterparts?
I felt that I was held to a higher standard as a head coach. It didn't matter what color I was. When you become a head coach, you're always held to a higher standard. So I think that should be put to bed right there. As a head coach, you're held to a higher standard off the field and on the field, and as a leader. And when things go great, you get a pat on the back. When things don't, you get blamed for it. And you have to understand that going in as a head coach, especially in a place like New York City, it just didn't work out.
The Tampa Bay coaching staff, they're the first team in NFL history to reach a Super Bowl with minority coordinators of all 3 phases of the game. In addition, there are multiple women on the staff as well. Why do you think Coach Arians is so committed to diversity when it comes to gender and race?
He believes in giving everyone a fair shake, but believe me, Bruce is not going to give you a job if he doesn't think you're capable of doing it. He looks at performance first, and then after that comes everything else. So he didn't hire us because we were women or African American. He hired us because we were good coaches, and we have spent part of his past with him as far as him going forward. And he trusted us completely, and we trusted him completely. But he's trying to set an example, of diversity in the league, where there's a lot of talk going around. There's a lot of people that talk about doing things and talk about this and talk about that, but he's one of the only few that's doing something about it. And he's not going around beating his chest or parading it. He's just doing it on his own, and everybody's taking notice.
With what you were able to accomplish this year in Tampa, your name was at the forefront of coaching opportunities, but nothing came to fruition. So how do you handle that when your name is out there, but nothing materializes?
You don't try to handle it. We won a Super Bowl. That's the biggest thing we can come up. You coach in this league to win the Super Bowl. Whether you're an assistant coach or a head coach, you coach to win at the highest level and prove you're the best. We got to that plateau this year. We proved we were the best. We won the Super Bowl. Nothing could ever top that. You can't do nothing about your name being out there and all the politics that go beside that. You just have to get the right opportunity.
What do you believe is the solution to seeing more black head coaches? And I hate to ask it because, it's not really on you as black coaches and other minorities, more so on the owners, but since the owners don't have to really talk to anybody, we're kind of forced to, ask the people that shouldn't really have to be asked these questions.
I wish I had that answer. Honestly, I think the coaches, especially the African American coaches, are probably tired of getting asked the question.
Yeah.
Everyone sees what we see, then what does everyone else think? We can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but until everybody else talks about it and everybody sees there's a problem, you keep asking the same people instead of applying what everybody's own opinion is. Okay, you've heard ours till we're blue in the face. You probably can play every one of ours and they'll probably end up sounding the same, like a broken record. Press rewind and play. Other than that, you gotta just do your job. There's a fight every year. There's a fight every year. So you gotta find your place and be the best that you can be. And if someone takes notice of that and you can advance your game to the next level as a coach, then you do that. If not, you be the best coach you can be and you try to help others get better.